Hello, today I want to share with you a story called M is for Melody, a music alphabet, written by Kathy-jo Wargin and illustrated by Katherine Larson. A is for anthem, and we are so proud. It's our national song, and we sing it out loud. An anthem is a special song of praise or loyalty written to honor a person or place. Most countries in the world have their own anthem, and to each nation it is beloved. It's a song sung at special celebrations and events. The anthem of the United States of America is the Star-Spangled Banner. The Canadian anthem is O Canada, and Mexico's is Himno Nacional Mexican, which means the national anthem of Mexico. B is for brass. Do you hear the sound swell as it flows through the tubing and out through the bell, with trombones and trumpets that shimmer and shine? Cornets and tubas and French horns are fine. The brass family includes the trumpet, trombone, French horn, tuba, and cornet. The brass section typically sits behind the woodwind section in most bands and has some of the loudest instruments in the whole band. A brass instrument is used by partly blowing through their mouthpiece and buzzing your lips. A brass instrument is played by blowing air and buzzing your lips through a cup-shaped mouthpiece like this. As the player presses down on valves or moves the slide, a different pitch is made. Brass instruments have curved tubes and a bell shape at the end. Although the saxophone is made of brass, it's not a member of the brass family. It's a woodwind instrument. C is for conductors, waving in the air. They direct the music with special flair. The conductor is responsible for helping a group of musicians, usually a band, orchestra, or choir, rehearse and perform. The conductor is the person in front who uses a baton to help the musicians establish the tempo, the dynamics, and directs the musicians on when to start and stop. And C is for composer. Have you heard of Bach? A composer writes the music from classic to rock. The composer is a person who writes music. There are many different styles of music. You can write classic, jazz, pop, country, western, blues, rock and roll, symphonies, and many, many more. There are many well-known composers. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was a famous classical composer. So was Ludwig van Beethoven. Paul McCartney is a famous contemporary or modern composer. Clara Schumann and Fanny Mendelssohn were famous female or women composers. Now D is for the drum majors. Don't you think they're grand? As they march on down the street as leaders of the band. D is also for dynamic. It tells you how to play. Piano means to play it soft. For loud we say forte! Drum majors are responsible for leading the marching band. They set the tempo of the march and the music, and the band follows their leadership. The word dynamic means volume. It is the level of soft or loud that we play or sing. For instance, the word piano means softly, while forte means to play or sing loudly. You can find these words on a sheet of music where they will tell you how to begin the piece, instruct you if you need to change your dynamic during the piece. They are also dynamic symbols. You can show getting louder and getting softer with a greater or less than sign. They mean to increase or decrease your volume. Now E is for early music. Very long ago, medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque are three kinds you should know. Bravo! Bravo! To most people, the term early music is used for European classical music, with the most familiar pieces written in the 17 and 1800s. Early music includes three important periods: medieval, from about 500 to 1430 AD, Renaissance, from about 14 to 1600 AD, and Baroque, which dates from approximately 1600 to 1750. Some of the instruments used to make early music were harpsichord, lute, recorder, and harp. F is for folk song, and we like to say, it's the music of the people. Which one shall we play? A folk song is a traditional song that belongs to the common folk music of a people or region. A folk song is often passed from person to person or region to region, so it's difficult to know where it began. It's typically about work, life, or love. Folk songs are important because they reflect how people see the world. Most often, they're easy to sing and play. There are many folk songs we all know, such as Yankee Doodle, Skip to My Lou, and On Top of Old Smoky. Alouette is a famous folk song from Canada. Some countries share folk songs. There are both American and Canadian verses to This Land Is Your Land. Do you know any folk songs from other lands? The letter G is for guitar. You strum or play with picks. Some guitars have 12 strings, others just have 6. I have 2 guitars here. Do you notice a difference? This one is called an acoustic guitar, meaning it doesn't need any electricity. It'll play just by strumming the strings. This one is an electric guitar, meaning it needs electricity to be heard. I can strum the strings. You notice you can't really hear it very well. That's because it needs to be plugged in. A guitar is a popular instrument in the United States. It is a flat-backed instrument with a long fretted neck and usually has 6 or 12 strings that are played by plucking or strumming. There are many different types of guitars: electric, bass, acoustic, steel, and Hawaiian, to name just a few. The guitar as we know it today most likely originated in Spain as long ago as the early 1500s. Although it has gone through many changes, it still remains as an important folk instrument in many countries. H is for harmony. It sounds very fine when 2 or more notes are played at the same time. Harmony is when you hear 2 or more different pitches or notes or tones playing the same time. Harmony is what makes a melody sound more interesting. A chord is when 3 or more different tones are played at the same time, and they are usually used to accompany a melody line. Chords are read vertically, which means up and down, because the notes are stacked on top of each other. I is for instrument. Which one will you play? When you join the band, you'll have fun every day. Practice makes perfect. An instrument is anything used to make music. Instruments can be large and fancy, like a piano, or small and portable, like a harmonica. Instruments are grouped into families. The brass family includes trumpet, French horn, trombone, and tuba. Important members of the woodwind family are flute, piccolo, clarinet, and bassoon, English horn, oboe, and saxophone. The string family includes violin, viola, cello, and bass. Familiar members of the percussion family include the bass drum, snare and timpani, marimba, xylophone, and cymbals. You can make your own instruments too. Find interesting things in your home and see what types of sounds they make. This is how some of the first instruments were created. Now J is for jazz. It's a cool musical style. It's a blend of our cultures and it makes us smile. There's Dixie and blues, there's big band and swing. Jazz started it all, and that's why it's king. Jazz is an important type of music in American history. When people from Africa were brought to America as slaves, they brought their music with them in the form of work songs and spirituals. In the 1800s, settlers from many places such as England, Scotland, and Germany came to live in New Orleans, a U.S. city that had been shaped by French and Spanish culture, and was also home to many African Americans. As these immigrants started making music with African American musicians, they blended their sounds together to create what we know today as jazz. Because of that, New Orleans is often referred to as the birthplace of jazz. Some of the great jazz musicians include Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis, Billie Holiday, Duke Ellington, and Benny Goodman. K is for keyboard. Do you see the keys? When you play with your hands, you tickle the ivories. Pianos, organs, harpsichords, synthesizers too. All our keyboards we can play. I will try. Will you? The keyboard family includes familiar instruments such as the piano and organ. It also includes some not so familiar instruments like harpsichord and synthesizer. These keyboard instruments are highly versatile because they can be used in many ways to provide interesting parts to bands and orchestras, to play two at a time as in a duet, or as a brilliant solo instrument. Long ago, most pianos had keys made out of ivory. Today, most are made out of synthetic materials. Can you play the piano? Learning to play the piano provides good musical knowledge for any future musician. L is for a lullaby, a lovely song for sleep. Shall we go to bed, my dear? Hush, don't make a peep. A lullaby is a beautiful, soft-sounding piece of music that is meant to be sung or listened to at night, especially when trying to fall asleep. The song is meant to lull someone to sleep. One of the most well-known lullabies is Lullaby, written by Johannes Brahms. Many other lullabies began as a song that a mother sang to a child, then was passed on through the generations. Do you have a favorite lullaby? The letter M is for melody. A tune is what we hear when music notes are played in line and flow in our ear. A melody is a series of musical notes played from left to right in a line. That makes a musical tune. You read a melody line just like you read a sentence. Melody is also one of the three fundamentals of music: melody, harmony, and rhythm. Can you think of a famous song you remember? If you can, it's because you remember the melody. And M is for meter. You can be a music star when you learn the basic pace is 4 beats in a bar. Meter is the way the beats of music are grouped together. Common time, or 4/4 time, means that there are 4 beats to every one measure. When you see the sign, looks like a C, that means 4 beats to a measure, and a quarter note gets the beat. How many beats would a half note get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now N is for note. Can you follow along with the notes on the staff of your favorite song? Each note fills a space or sits right on a line. The spaces spell face, the lines spell every good boy does fine. When you learn to read music, you learn that notes are labeled with the letters of the alphabet. When you put them together to read, you can play musical sounds, just like reading words. Each note rests on a group of 5 lines and 4 spaces called a staff. The spaces spell face, F-A-C-E. The lines spell every good boy does fine. O is for the orchestra, where people play as one. Woodwind, string, percussion, brass, it sounds like so much fun. Encore! Encore! Please play one more! An orchestra is a mixed body of instrumentalists who work together performing symphonic music and other works. But there are several types of orchestras. A symphony orchestra is a group of about 85 or more players who can play elaborate works of music, while a chamber orchestra is a small version of a symphony orchestra, usually consisting of 15 to 45 people. A string orchestra means that there are only string instruments, while a theater orchestra is a small group that plays to accompany theatrical productions. P is for percussion. Come and move your feet. It makes you feel like dancing. Percussion gives the beat. Kettle drums are timpani. Bells and cymbals grand. Find yourself some pots and pans and make a kitchen band. There are two types of percussion instruments, rhythmic and melodic. Rhythmic instruments play a rhythm, but there's no melody. You'll notice the notes aren't going up or down, just long or short. A melodic instrument not only has rhythm, but also has a melody. So my notes can get higher and lower. So for example, if I played the rhythm ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, that sounds different than if I play it on my drum, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. So a xylophone like this is a melodic instrument. A drum like this is just a rhythmic instrument. The letter Q is for quartet. It means the number 4. 4 singers or players. It's a form we all adore. Duet means 2. Quintet means 5. Trio, there are 3. Solo means all by yourself. It's as easy as can be. There are many ways for people to organize their voices or instruments. One of the most common ways is with a quartet, which means 4 players or 4 singers. One such quartet is called a barbershop quartet, which is a type of music sung unaccompanied, meaning no instruments, in 4-part harmony.
She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
A duet means 2 people play or sing, and is a popular way to share music with a friend. Have you ever heard of a tune called Chopsticks? It's a popular piano duet. R is for rhythm. Can you feel the beat as it flows through our fingers and into our feet? And R is for ragtime, a hit for our nation. Just drag out a beat. It's called syncopation. Rhythm is the beat that we hear and feel. It is one of the 3 most important elements of music. So think about how long or short a note lasts. Ragtime is a type of music with a unique rhythm. It uses syncopation, which means the accent fall or drag out at unexpected beats in the melody. One of the most well-known musicians and composers of ragtime was Scott Joplin. Born in 1860, he composed the Maple Leaf Rag and the Entertainment. Many of you might know it as the Ice Cream Truck song. S is for strings. They can play fast or slow. Just pluck at them neatly. or draw with your bow. The string family consists of many instruments, including guitars, violins, cellos, bass, viola, harp, lute, and zither. They are called strings because each instrument has some type of string stretched over them. You can make musical sounds when you pluck, bow, or strum the strings. They're often made from gut, nylon, or wire. The strings are a beautiful part of any musical performance. T is for tempo. It's the pace we must go. Allegro means fast. Lento means slow. Tempo is the speed of the music. The tempo is typically set by a conductor or by written instructions in the music. The directions are usually given in Italian. Lento or largo means slow. Allegro or presto means fast. U is for unison, at the same time. Let's all sing together, and it will sound fine. The word unison means all together at the same pitch. Many times you will see this word printed at the beginning of a song. That means that everyone sings or plays the same part or melody together. When two or more instruments are playing in unison, it means they're playing the same notes. The letter V is for voice. Let the music ring! Our voice is our own instrument. We play it when we sing. Our voice is the original instrument. Because we make music when we hum or sing, we can take it with us wherever we go. A song is a melody with words that has beginning, middle, and end. And it is what we sing. There are many types of voices in music, and they have names. To sing soprano means to sing the very high notes. To sing bass is to sing the very low notes. Now W is for the woodwinds. They are all shaped like hollow poles. When the air flows through the tube, it comes out through the holes. The woodwinds are a family, and we must not forget piccolo, flute, oboe, bassoon, English horn, and clarinet. Woodwinds make music when air flows through a hollow tube. The player presses down on different keys or covers and uncovers holes of the instrument. Woodwind instruments were originally made from wood, but today some members, such as the flute, are made of metal or other materials. Xylophone begins with X. I'm sure you understand that all you need to play is a mallet in your hand. Up and down the scale I go, a little fast, a little slow. The xylophone is a melodic percussion instrument. You can make a musical sound by striking it with a mallet or special stick with a ball on the end. The xylophone has 1 or 2 rows of bars, similar to piano keys. It is believed the xylophone originated in Southeast Asia and was possibly brought to Africa during the years of trade or migration. Slaves from Africa were taken to Latin America, and they brought the xylophone with them. From there, it was brought to the United States. This is one of the first instruments many children learn to play. Now Y is for yodel. We sing without words and make it high-low. It's neat. Have you heard? To yodel is to sing a song without words by alternating sounds from deep in your chest to high in the throat. Yodeling began in the Austrian Alps as a way for people to communicate from one mountain peak to another. Originally called Unison, each yell had a different meaning. Today, yodeling is an art form and an important part of European folk music. Z is for zither, a flat box with strings. You strum them or pluck them. You do many things. Since ancient times, the zither has been one of the most widely used folk instruments because it was easy to make and play. It is a flat instrument with 30 to 40 strings, and it's played by strumming or plucking. Considered a folk instrument that evolved in the 18th century, the term zither is applied to many similar instruments, including the dulcimer and psaltery. Long ago, many people were able to make their own zithers out of wooden strings. Today, you can make a zither by placing rubber bands around a shoebox. Give it a good strum or pluck and see what sounds you can make. Now here's the end of our musical spree, so please share your music with love from A to Z.